Hello, everybody. I hope you're feeling lovely. Yes, another day of love, joy, Lovemonger, remember the supreme 5 minutes of love. We can do it. You can do it. I can do it. Everyone can do it. So, yeah, we're reading from Gigolos. This little worker play, you know, it's rough and it's requiring of your presence and your manifest focus, and no matter what, we can get through it though. No matter what we are up against, we can. Love and faith and concentration can do wonderful things. That being said, let's read a little bit about this American Gigolo. The Gigolo in America is a 20th century phenomenon, defined in 1922 by Edna Ferber as a man who lives off women's money, which isn't the particular definition that I particularly live by. Like, I have my own money, but I provide services that are worth exchange of value, and in that way, I'm just a sex worker. So that's the definition of gigolo that I'm using. But I digress. His appearance on the American scene in the early part of this century coincides with a revolution in women's roles in society. The first gigolos literally danced into view, for they arrived in step with a new dance craze, the tango. In fact, the word gigolo derives from the French word for dance partner. Ooh, you learn something every day. Born vulgar and suggestive in the streets of Buenos Aires, the tango quickly made it to the continent where sophisticated Parisians polished its steps and gestures, creating an elegant, highly erotic set of movements. When the tango arrived on the American shore, it was met by a population who were in the throes of completely redefining themselves. America was in a period of massive social and economic upheaval, shifting from a rural agrarian society to an urban and industrial one. The middle class was rapidly expanding, and a new breed of woman was emerging. One who was educated, one who had free time and money, one who was intensely curious about the world outside her traditional sphere of domesticity. Damn rights, it's about time. The women's suffrage movement had been gaining strength for almost 40 years, growing more militant than when Susan B. Anthony began the crusade for women's voting rights in 1869. Women in the earliest part of the century took to the streets by the thousands, and even chained themselves to the White House fence, to protest a political system that was the exclusive province of men. Young women who flaunted their disdain for the conventional dress, behavior, and moral values were known as flappers. Flap, flap, flap. In the climate of the social turbulence leading up to the First World War, women threw away their corsets, cut their hair, and flocked to the cabarets to dance the tango. Fun, fun, fun. There they were greeted by eager playmates, the gigolos, or lounge lizards, or taxi dancers, as they were also called. Taxi dancers, that's a fun one. Young men who hung around the clubs looking for women willing to pay for their skills on the dance floor. Hey, hey, hey. While husbands attended to business or other women, lonely and bored ladies could easily find diversion dancing the tango in the arms of a dashing stranger. Women adored these seedily dapper young men, many of them recent immigrants from Greece, Russia, Italy, or France. I'm assuming from Africa and South America as well, because they affected refined manners, portraying themselves as sophisticated and worldly. Ferber described them as lean, sallow, handsome, expert, and unwholesome. One that saw them everywhere, their slim waists and sleek heads in juxtaposition to plump, respectable American matrons and slender, respectable American flappers. Not insignificant in the gigolo's appeal was their sultry sexuality. To the dismay of moralists, men and women in the tango even brought legs and pelvic regions into contact intimately in the much feared dip portion of the dance. Ooh, which placed women in a horizontal position reeking of sexual exploration and subjugation. Oh, ho, ho. Say it ain't so. wrote Louis A. Ehrenberg's in Stepping Out, an examination of New York nightlife of the time. New York clubs like Maxim's, Delmonico's, and the Ritz Grill played host to scores of young women eager to pay a gigolo or taxi dancer to glide her across the floor and murmur sweet flatteries in her ear. Flirtations which she might, if she chose, turn into something more. Yes, so that's pretty good for today. That made me feel better. I hope you feel better from listening. I want, I trust, and I know that you can find 5 minutes to put into loving something or somebody or somewhere in your life. So thank you for having the courage and faith.